Two main things really. Maturities for the issuers with challenged business models. And the second one is the asset quality review of the ECB that should impact the banks and the way they deal also with zombies and all these issuers that have too high leverage. In terms of the issuer with distressed business model challenge, basically they haven't been able to do any amend and extend over the past year or so, and maturities are coming soon. So restructuring seems to be unavoidable because people will then be at the bottom of the wall and have to do something. On the asset quality review, basically, the ECB is starting to put in place the elements to assess what is a non-performing loss and what would be the criteria that would lead to the stress tests for the banks. And that should be something that will drive restructuring and also force banks to clean their balance sheets. So that could be something that would increase the willingness of banks to go through restructuring. We've seen that recently because before basically the solution was amend and extend, but it seems to be a taboo that's been broken. One particularly is the broadcasting and media. When a company started from a print model and has to transition to digital model. So some of them have done it successfully when they were in a niche market and they could transition because they had their captive audience. But for other companies, and I think that the business directories are quite an example that everyone knows, that's much more difficult and still of a challenge. And there are other companies in that sector as well. It's pushed it, but it's still there. Basically, looking at 2010, we had a portfolio of about 330 leveraged finance issuers in Europe. We had 63% of the maturities that were due between 2013 and 2016. Now, for the same period, we only have 38% or 102 billion euros to refinance. So it's definitely been pushed through both high yield but also amend and extend, and all the recaps that have happened recently. However, we still have a peak in refinancing in 2017 with about 55 billion of euro dues. And the thing that also, not everything is refinanceable through high yield. Some issuers are too small. Some issuers won't be able to afford the coupon because basically what's been enabling them to survive are the lower interest, both margin and base rates. So this will be difficult for them. And for some of them, we've seen that the high yield market has become very hot recently. And so some of the lower quality issuers have been refinanced at very high leverage. So the issue is not immediate anymore, but 2019, 2020, when these deals will need to be refinanced with a mix of loan documentation, high yield bond, different laws, different jurisdiction, no covenant, that could be an interesting time.